Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make a corn and vegetable pie. You could also make it into a chicken pie if you wanted to. Okay, you're going to need 300 grams of plain flour, 150 grams of butter. Now I've got a selection of vegetables. I've got frozen peas and sweet corn, an onion, a leek, some florets of broccoli and some corn. Obviously you could change that for chicken. That's 150 grams of corn. Now for my sauce, I'm going to use corn flour, milk, a little bit of cheese and a stock cube, salt and pepper for seasoning and oil for cooking. Okay, so in here I've got my plain flour and I've cubed my butter. What I've got to do now to make my short crust pastry is rub in the fat to the flour. So with my fingertips, cover the butter and squeeze the butter into the flour. That's called the rubbing in technique. You do that until it looks like breadcrumbs. Make a well in the centre of your breadcrumbed flour and butter and then add up to 4 tablespoons of water and then stir. And then get your pastry into a ball together. If you were making a non-vegetarian one, you could use half lard and half butter for your fat, so 75 grams of each to your 300 grams of flour. There you go, that's my ball of short crust pastry. So here's my dish I'm going to bake it in. So now I need to split my pastry into 2/3 to 1/3. One's going to be my lid and one's going to be my base. Sprinkle your surface with a little bit of flour, not forgetting your hands and your rolling pin. Get your pastry, your short crust pastry, into the shape of your bowl. If it's a circle, make it a circle. If it's a rectangle like mine, get it into a rectangle. And then start rolling out your pastry, turning it over and rolling it out. Now you need to get it big enough to go all the way inside your bowl. So you want it about 5mm to 4mm thick. Pick it up onto your rolling pin and then gently place it over your bowl that it's going to go into, and then get it into position with the back of your hand. So I'm just going to leave it like that with the rough edges because I'm going to cut those off later, and now I'm going to try and make the lid for my pastry with the other piece. I'm now going to cover these and chill them whilst I make the filling. First of all, I'm going to prepare my leek. So I'm going to chop the end off and the green bit at the end. Cut it in half and then use a bridge to cut it in half again so you've got a nice flat surface. And then cut them into little half moons. Then cut your onion in half and peel. I'm going to cut off the shoots and then I'm going to dice. So down one way and then the other. And then over to the cooker we go. Into a jug, crumble your stock cube. I'm just boiling the kettle to put the water in. So pour on 150 millilitres of boiling water. Top up your stock to 300 millilitres with milk. Into your pan, add a little knob of butter and 50p piece of oil. Heat your oil and butter in the pan, and as soon as it's warm, add your onion. If you're cooking chicken, put it in now and cook it until there's no pink bits at all. This is Quorn mince, so there is no pink bits. I don't need to cook it as long. I've cut my broccoli florets really small so they will cook quicker, and my leek. I have cooked these vegetables for about 4 minutes. I'm going to now add my frozen peas and sweet corn and for another 2 minutes. Now to the mixture, add a tablespoon of corn flour or plain flour and stir. At this point, you're going to add your stock to create your sauce. Add my pepper, seasoning and my salt Have you not done it? And then stir in your salt and pepper and leave your sauce for about 4 minutes to thicken. Okay, so my sauce has now thickened, as you can see. Now you could leave your sauce just like that, or like me, you could add a little handful of grated cheddar to give it a bit of flavour. Put my baking dish onto a oven-proof tray to go into the oven. Now pour your filling into your pie. Then take your top and place it over your filling. With a knife, trim the edges down a little bit. Around the edges, crimp with 3 fingers, 2 on one side, 1 on the other, all the way around your pie. Right, so I've just beaten an egg to glaze my pastry. You can always use milk if you want to. And I'm going to just brush that all over the top to give it a nice golden finish. I've made a couple of leaf shapes to put on the top, so decorate yours with some leftover pastry. Don't forget to brush those as well. And then in the middle, just make a steam hole with a knife. So there's my pie ready to go into the oven for about half an hour. Okay, I'm going to make some Hasselback potatoes now. They're like roast potatoes that split up when you bake them. So using a sharp knife, do little strips of cuts all the way along each of your potatoes. So your cuts are just along the top half of your potato. Right, put them onto a baking tray and then over each potato drizzle some oil. Okay then, and cover each one with lots of sea salt. Now this sea salt helps them to get crispy. And then pepper over them for flavour. Now these are also going into the oven for 25 minutes. Plate up with your Hasselback potatoes. I've done some battens of carrot, and then can you see the pie? Cut a nice piece of pie. You don't want to overfeed people, so just give them a small portion to start off with. And then try and take your pie out, or if you can, in one piece. So you can see the vegetables. And then if you want to serve a sauce with it, put it into a little jug.